My sweet waters, you cut down my. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Yes, a little Quicksilver messenger service. Yeah, you gotta love it, guys and gals. I mean, good group, good group. So, how is everybody? Everyone, just start the shirt. It says, "What a crock of poo." What, and that's the nice way. You can put the other term. So, hello, everybody. How are you doing? Favor be unto you. And may there be nothing missing, nothing broken in your life. Have a good weekend. Did you get a chance to have fun and have some party time? If anything else, just with your mind. I did. Immersion therapy. Got a story to tell about that. Yeah. There's other dimensions, my fellow sojourners, that we don't remember. But when you get a peek, and all it takes is just a peek, you begin to see things differently. So what's up, everybody? Hey, Julianne Payne, I saw your suggestion about having Nijon and you. I think that's a good idea. I'll reach out. Hey there, Brian, Milky Way Messenger. Hello, Big Al. Good to see you. And Lori, hello, Miss Trina. Go over there, please, all you good folks, and subscribe to her so she can start going live. Trina, I don't know. Is it Trina? What is it? Tell me what the YouTube channel is, dear. I post it every Tuesday, but yeah. Get over there and let's get Trina live. I think that would be cool. Hey, Susie Q, Blazing River, how are you doing? Nina the Mystic, Paul P, hello. Man, lots of people. Max, good to see you. And Barry, Ronald, hello, one and all. David, Barry, how you doing? Paul from Newcastle. How many T-shirts, Wayne? The Steiger repository is now hitting 90. 90. Yeah. But it's enjoyable. You can speak more by words than many times 1,000 words. Isn't that what they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words, maybe more. So anyway, Robert V, good to see you. And Stellar Core, hello. Marco, what is that? Gaza, good to see you. Hey, thank you for the email. Read that, my friend. Lost in Space. Mark, what is that? Marcabella? Is that right? I think Agape Love. Good to see Twisted Isby. So, what's going on here? Let's see. Talked about Trina. I'll go over there. I think having Trina live would be something. And I know, Brian, I got to catch a little bit of you and Trina in Kent last night. Big Al, how are you doing? In Idaho, heading to Portland, Oregon. Hey, yeah, it's wintertime. But I understand, Al, it's going to be really unusual warm next week. We're going to see some freakazoid temperatures next week, I think. Things are changing, folks, changing. Let's see. I have all of this here on my list. Okay, I think that's it. Tomorrow, a second look with Trina. So please join us. On Wednesday, I am going to have a special guest on, Trisha, and I want to say Navasada. I hope I got that right. I probably don't. We're going to be talking about what's going on in space. Lots of things happening. And, it's when you're not aware of these little clues, these little happenings that, sometimes you're out of the loop. And that can be not good. So let's talk about one thing really quick here. Just got this sent to me, and I think it's well worth going, now, wait a minute. So as you can see, this is the Center for Health Security.org. This was sent to me by one of the folks in the community. This was an event that happened last October 2019 called Event 201, a global pandemic exercise. Folks, I'm going to get my freaking crystal ball out because, man, if these guys can predict stuff like that, hey. Anyway, what this was, Event 201, simulates an outbreak of novel zoonotic coronavirus transmitted from bats to pigs to people that eventually becomes efficiently transmittable from person to person, leading to a severe pandemic. I think I'm watching an episode of Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon where they were doing, Johnny always did his Carmack. The pathogen and the disease it causes are modeled largely on SARS, but is more transmissible in the community setting by people with mild symptoms. Gets better. The disease starts in pig farms in Brazil, quietly and slowly at first, but then it starts to spread more rapidly in healthcare settings, meaning doctor offices, hospitals. When it starts to spread efficiently from person to person in the low-income, densely packed neighborhoods of some of the mega cities in South America, the epidemic explodes. It is first exported by air travel to Portugal, the United States, and China, and then to many other countries. Although at first some countries are able to control it, it continues to spread and be reintroduced, and eventually no country can maintain control. There is no possibility of a vaccine being available in the first year. There is a fictional antiviral drug that can help the sick, but not significantly limited spread of the disease. Center for Healthy Security.org. Now, folks, you tell me, please, how in the that we're seeing it today. I mean, and again, this was a what-if scenario, an exercise, as they call it. Yeah. Let me see. Am I buying this? No, not for a second. What a crock of poo. You know, it exemplifies what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about today how you and I, our species, almost from the beginning, hell, before the beginning, we ain't nothing but a bunch of nothing but slaves. Our souls are manufactured or an accident. Wasn't supposed to happen. And this leads to a whole new discovery, a way of thinking. You see, all of us are infected with the God virus. You're infected with it the minute you blend and take possession of these bodies. It's part of the package. And many have got this crazy idea that humanity somehow was created in God's image. No, wait a minute. It never said that. It said in their image. What the hell was their image? We have no bloody idea. None. But you see, that starts this worm. That's what it is. It's a worm that right now still exists in all of us. It's almost symbiotic. That as the worm lives, we are forever trapped. You see, the worm is parasitic. It exists in every human being. You could say that it is of the same substance of what we call a soul, consciousness, a spirit. And it literally blends itself on the host, us. And this parasitic, call it what you want, it puts within us the fact that we think we're actually above, and when it's not that way at all. It traps us, and it will forever continue to trap us. We're going to talk about this today. But think about the worm. Yeah, it's transmuted at birth. Every mother infects the embryo that grows into the fetus that eventually becomes a living being. Wild, I know, but it's also could be considered a tag. You see, because once you're tagged, you're always going to be tracked, controlled, manipulated. Now, oddly enough, apparently, there is a way. In fact, in a lot of the ancient Sanskrit we're going to study, they knew about this. It's called different things in different belief systems, but it is as parasitic and real as our existence is, as real as that existence can exist. So, immersion therapy. Have you ever? And it's really so. I want one of these pods. I really do. They're a little expensive, but I think that wow, you could really do some serious inside work. What are we saying here? Yes, Marguerite, absolutely. Spot on, my dear. She said that's a nice analogy. It's all in the mind, and all the wormhole, it's in the mind. You're getting it. Listen, folks, we're going to get into a presentation here in a little bit that, at some point we got to wake up. This experience that I had, well, I'll share it with you. So I had a out-of-body experience, a vision, whatever you want to call it. Came back and wrote it down to the best of my recall. And it was profound, still jacking with my head, a little bit, because, sometimes they're really deep. I think there's different degrees of being separated from the essence of what we are, which is body, the five senses. And you can get into it. And I tell you, I would recommend this. It's one of the deepest relaxation experiences you can have. And that's why it's so intense. Like once you get past hearing your heartbeat, folks, that gets intense. Where all you hear is nothing but your heartbeat. Oh, yeah. It's amazing how the cacophony can echo, but yet not make a single sound that is audible. I always go with my eyes open, and I have come to discover there is no such thing as darkness. For even in darkness, there is yet light. There are shades, almost barely perceptible luminosity. And if you can begin to adjust and begin to allow the eye to no longer see what we're expecting it to show us, it opens up another place. And I'll share my story with you. And I can't tell you whether I was awake or if I was, in a state of altered consciousness. I would say probably a state of altered consciousness, and I guess awake at the same time. It's weird. So I called this a waking vision at about 11 a.m. I was ascending out of my body. I could see the earth below me growing smaller. There was a river of bodies. Maybe they were spirits or so, not really sure. And they were all being drawn into a barrier of light. The light had no surface or other features as being solid, more a liquid. I was being repulsed from this light. It would not allow me to go in the direction of the river of bodies. I looked within myself, and I was of a form that was both substance and emitting an energy which, when it was on my surface, it glowed. It was not a solid color, but a morphing of colors of light. I looked, and the earth was falling faster away from me, and the light barrier was also becoming less in brightness and intensity. I looked around me to see if there were other beings. I saw others. There are not many others. The numbers are small. We are all heading away from the glow of earth. I and a few others are being drawn towards something. The glow is almost gone. There's another kind of light beginning to be seen. I look back, and there are dark figures coming up from behind. They are not menacing. I see two other spirits resisting the pull of the force. They are changing in color. The dark figures move to stop them. We are all being drawn to some place. Now, like I said, I don't know if I was awake or what. I can see it now. I sense within myself something is about to happen to me that has not happened before. I momentarily feel a sense of loneliness, but it is fleeting. I am remembering memories. I sense a warmth, not sure where it is coming from. These dark figures stop. They do not move any further, but I and the few others are being pulled faster. I'm feeling dizzy. There is a feeling of speed, but not being felt. I speak to myself, a declaration of thanksgiving for the experiences of my existence. Wow, deja vu. Still being pulled, it's very dark now. All I can sense is my energy. I hear my heart beating. I know I have no heart, but yet I can feel it. My spirit can feel it. There is a rhythm. I begin to sing. I can see something ahead. It is if I am a source of energy and I am being slowed down by a force of some kind. I see a platform. No, it's not a platform. It is the edge or end of this plane. My heart is beating faster. There is a fence. It stretches forever. I cannot see where it stops. I'm now standing upright. I am dressed in light. It's a garment. The others have them as well. I don't see the two others. Well, we are so few in numbers. Wait, a huge set of gates are now before me. There is a voice with no substance to it. It's telling me I must leave this plane and cannot go back. I, for a moment, panic in my energy, for I am just now realizing what is happening to me and the few others. We are being released or about to enter a place I know nothing about. The gates are swinging open. I look back. Yeah. And I see, and it's like this huge, 360. I see all my lives that I have been me, all that I have experienced everywhere. I look, I see my essence of my life being projected everywhere. I see Earth one last time. I turn and begin to walk through the gate. As soon as I move through, everything stops. I'm alone. It is beyond dark. I can sense nothing. I begin to whistle, and when I blew the first note, I'm in a place I know not. There are now other energies here, not like I must sleep, is what I hear within me. And that's it. Weird, isn't it? Let me get out of there. There we go. So, yeah, intense. And there's still this, I don't know, there's a spatial disconnect within me. Does that make sense? And it invokes the emotions. Yeah, it's amazing how intense the emotions are. But anyway, there you go. Thought I would write that down. Well, that's what happened. And yeah, I meditate on it. It was so intense. I mean, it was so freaking real. Yeah, so anyway, let's see. Who I can't read all this. Y'all are going too fast. So I'll pay attention with the bus. All right. So yeah, write me if you've had lately any out-of-body experiences, anything that is profoundly, I think, lifting the veil. The one scene that is so vivid in my mind even now was the Earth. And this, I guess I interpret it as, wow, truth in me. Okay, thank you. Excellent. Was the Earth. Again, so freaking vivid. And this light, again, I guess it could be interpreted as a tunnel. I saw it as something a little more different. But it's apparently where the vast majority of energies go. And the weird thing, as I sit here and recall, was I felt drawn towards it. But then there was like, boom, this thing that just, it stopped me. It literally repulsed me. And that's what kind of freaked me out. So what? So yeah, I mean, go figure. Yeah, I'm just trying to read in. You can't read it. It's discussions. It's like dropping in the middle of a conversation. Like, what? So let's talk about how this is in context with everything we've been studying since the beginning of this new decade. See, there's a trap here. Reincarnation, if you think about reincarnation, and it seems the most logical of events, seems like we get our asses wiped, memories, they steal from us, and we just continue on. Well, thank you, Regina. It was a great interview. We're going to have Nige back on. And I like the idea, Julie. We'll have you and Nige together. I think that would be quite the show. So let's just take a little peek at this. Yes, Truth in Me asked the question, when you saw your past lives, did it solidify that you were in the right path? You can see it's intense, very intense. And I guess the thing that really, as I think about it now, is I wasn't aware of time. Time didn't mean anything. And my lives, it was something I knew. It's like the finality of something. You can't write a book and then in the middle of it just say, well, y'all put the end to it that you like. No, I mean, and then at that moment, yeah, I'm thinking of the word, a finality. It was, there was a sense of a finality to it. And as I think about it now, that dark place, yeah, that was freaky. I had to start whistling because I know that whistling is a powerful, powerful thing. And because you think about it, it's what I call the soul song. When you whistle, you are creating vibrations, harmonies, frequencies. And when you get into the spirit realm, the ether realm, you find out that those abilities, if you start using them, I think it'll help a lot of people stop going to the light. I don't know. Like I said, I've never been there. So anyway, someone says I sing la, la, la. Yeah. I've got a whole freaking 3 or 4 decades of music in my head. I mean, I can play my jukebox, favorite song, Vanity Fair. A thumb goes up, a car goes by. Won't somebody give this guy a ride? So you start doing that and you're starting to create melody. It's powerful. It really is. It's something, some of the comments. Anyway, it's emotional, folks. You will get caught up. Try it sometimes. There are many places around the country where you can literally go and rent some time in these immersion pods. I think back in the day they were called sensory deprivation. But it's anything but. I mean, it's amazing what happens when the senses really get kicked in. And that's what happens. I mean, it's as black can be. It reminds me of many of the caves I used to explore in my youth. But yeah. And the senses really come alive. The thing that I first felt was as if there were ants crawling all over me. I mean, it was like an immersion of, everything, these, nerves going, what's happening? And yeah, anyway, let's Let's see. Twisted Isby, I always thought whistling took breath. You know, you would ask yourself then, how can a spirit talk? How can a spirit see? Oddly enough, and it's weird, but yeah, I mean, apparently some there, I don't know, I can't explain it. You're breathing, but you're not really breathing. Does that make sense? It's like, I don't know. To each his own on that one. Go try it. Then come here, come on the channel, and we'll let everybody hear your experience. All right. So I think really what the question comes down to is where souls go. Now, oddly enough, there is ancillary data out there that says we go to the moon. Could the moon represent an artificial recycling center? You know, there's books, Sanskrit, that say, excuse me, folks, I don't know why my eye is itching, but hey, it happens, right? Of a time when the moon wasn't here. Now, modern science says, well, that's a crock of poo. Well, you know, lots of things are different. So we're genetically modified. We know that. That's not an issue that's even debatable. But no one ever talked about the soul. How do we know our souls are what a soul is supposed to be? I don't think we know. I think we've been fooled right from the beginning. So here, let's inject this into this. Man is genetically manufactured, never created. We are not created in the image of any God. Period. That's the first trap door you fall through. And you have to understand and realize, study. It's there. Man was not created anything but. We were, in fact, genetically manufactured. Humans date back millions of years. This cockamamie story that, 6,000 years ago, yada, yada, yada. Not, again, unless you believe in the fairy tales that someone goes, abracadabra, and there it is. We were manufactured as slaves. The book that even says there was no man to till the ground. I tell you, have any of you ever put in a garden? Try to put in a half-acre garden. You're going to work. Oh, man. Here's the other thing. The worm. This is part of the worm. All humans were taught to worship something. And if you can't worship something, then you begin to worship yourself. And we've seen the results of that. It goes from one extreme to the other. No middle ground. All humans are the result of another species. I mean, no one likes to hear this. Worshipping things is planted into the humans genetically. And our masters will never let us go. Never. We have 10,000 years of written history, 70,000 years of records, yet no increase in our IQ, decreased in our lifespan. Animals like traits. We kill, murder, we deceive, we lie. almost shapes a pyramid. If I switched up the one on the IQ and the decreases, I'm looking at it, would have been a perfect inverted pyramid. And no one likes this. It happens in children automatically, naturally. Children know how to lie. Children. We used to call it, back in the days when I was under the God spell in Christianity, we would call it the devil spirit. All children had the devil spirit. And what about that crazy thing with President Trump's spiritual advisor, Paula White, to stand up and say, in Jesus' name, all satanic pregnancies in right now? What? That's the kind of worm I'm talking about. You put it in context of this, who we are. I mean, it doesn't make any logical, cognitive, rational reasoning that we are the way we are today. It just doesn't make sense. There is an orchestrated holographic projection upon humanity in which we think reality, which isn't real at all. Therefore, naturally leading us to false perceptions of this realm. Folks, hold on to me, because you're going to go, I hadn't thought about that, and alters the way in which we view this world, therefore maneuver our way through it. In short, what we think we know about this world is not the truth at all. The false misperceptions of death and the way in which we transition into the next realm. We're going to challenge the theory of the light tunnel and review why we need to take a second look at this crossing over directive. You see, folks, this is part of the worm. You, I, we've all been prepared so that when it happens, that event of the transition of all of us, you're already pre-programmed to accept it. And the terrible thing, folks, is that your vibration is being set to be in complete synchronicity with that tunnel of light. You are going to be pulled towards it because that's exactly what your energy is emitting at death. You see, if all these processes have been altered and not for our own highest best good, then we would have a reason to believe that our death process is anything but unnatural and controlled as well. First of all, we have to realize there's no death. We call it that, but that is not what's happening. Only a transition of energy from one state to the other. If we did this properly, we would put each person into an energy receptive field as they're departing to aid in the move. So think about it. This is why people who have the NDEs, the near-death experiences, many report there was a pull. Well, if this is energy, and we go to the simple basics of energy, then you have a like attractiveness taking place here. And we're the victims. We're taught that this is the next step to paradise. But then why the hell do people come back and reincarnate and don't remember things? And listen, I know about the Akashic record, all that, but let's just be honest with one another here. The vast majority of the 7.5 billion, nearly 8 billion people don't give a damn about the Akashic record. And you're never going to get to them going with that approach. The worm is so entrenched. And the thing about it is, it doesn't need to be religious or non-religious. So how do we begin to run away? How does the individual begin to prepare to escape the light, which is obviously a recycling center? When you get on the other side, you're going to go, oh, crap. Someone sent me the Farsight Institute. Go and check out their latest project. Their viewers were in tears because if what they saw is correct, and it seems to be lining up, folks, those who pass through the light will be in a place of torment. This extraction process is not without pain, a pain that the five senses have no idea about. The screams, the horrors, the agony of having your memories extracted is worse than death itself. They say each memory becomes a mini death within itself, and you are consciously aware of what's happening to you. That's what awaits. I don't want to go there. It's a soul trap. Here's the point. Humans emulate our masters. These are sadistic beings over there, probably here too. It's why we are as we are as a species. It's why we kill our brothers, our wives, our children, each other. It's why we steal from one another. It's why we lie to one another, even ourselves. It's why we deceive ourselves by putting up ego as, you think you're really something. And as it stands right now, you're just more fodder. Again, we ask ourselves, why do humans only use 7 to 10% of the thinking capacity of our brains? Why do we grow old? Why do we forget? Why is it that mankind cannot evolve? How many times has this occurred? We've talked about this before. We should be on the path right now of an IQ level of 2,500. We should not grow old at all. Our bodies are designed to never age. Even with adverse environmental surroundings, the human body, as it is currently, is designed to function well past 1,000 years. The human body is designed to be able to fight off all viruses and bacterium. The brain in humans is designed to increase exponentially. But it doesn't. It doesn't work. Why? We've been altered from the inside. Take a look at him. I'm serious. Take a look at this rhesus monkey. You see, he's looking at you and saying, I am you, and you are me. You see, this is the thing that all religions do not want to address. All theology, all philosophy does not want to address. That this is our ancestor. No denying it. None. Ask yourself this question: how did its blood get inside us? We've talked about the Rh factor. Their anatomy is more like ours than anything else. And the thing about it is the blood protein, folks, that just doesn't happen. Period. The books I'm reading is the abductions, is that this is what they are after. It is the enzymes, the proteins, the complex carbohydrates, and the other things about the blood and other fluids. This is probably most reality right here. This is who God is. If you want to be very honest, this is most likely who manufactured us. Created us in a lab, but it's not even in the lab. Yeah, because they took the primates and other forms of what we used to be. Frightening, isn't it? You know, human beings are the only things that are prisoners. Yeah, I know. Oh, I forgot. Let me get right back in here. No, this is cool. So, yeah. The evidence is overwhelming. I said this yesterday to a couple of people, and I said, man will never evolve, never develop to our full potential until we take responsibility for ourselves as a species and stop looking to unseen gods, unseen saviors. Folks, no one's coming to save our ass. Nobody. No person on a white horse. No ET in a silver spaceship. It's us. And I'm convinced that if we can begin to counter the worm, we could really start something here. But I don't know. It's there. And listen, let me show you something. We have seen this in the past. Let me pull this up for everybody. So this is ancient origins. And you can go back. This is going back 7 years ago. But there is enough evidence that shows we've known this. It somehow gets lost. It gets lost in a time where we don't realize. Because we think we are so very recent. I mean, the vast majority of people in most religions think that we're less than 6,000 years old. Is that crazy? No, because I believed like that for decades. And when you begin to say, well, now, wait a minute. What about a time when the earth didn't have them? And now you'll find to the astrophysicists and the astrologers and oh, no. The moon has always been here around the earth. We don't know that. The vast majority of our science knowledge today is wrong. Part of the problem. But then the question really becomes then, well, then what is the moon? What is the purpose of the moon? Now, you can go and study in Sumerian folklore, and you find that the moon is more powerful than the sun. It has a strange pull on us, on animals. Many people believe that, in fact, that the moon is actually emitting a signal, a frequency. You can go on here and see for yourself. Study. All I've got to say. This is Conspiracy Daily. The moon is a recycling center for the human soul. Now, this is a theory, but hey, listen. So is every other holy book out there. Am I saying that this is a holy book? Well, what I'm saying, it offers another option. And you can study these yourself. It's all out there. You see, we get into this duality. It's another one, trickedbythelight.com. Check that website out. Cool stuff. And this is a gentleman who, I love it. He writes his thoughts down and says, now, wait a minute. Something ain't right. He's right. I mean, folks, we've made no progress. I'll get out of here. But check these out. They've got great information on them. But I think the simple fact is, if it's off-worlders, ET, aliens, demons, angels, gods, they're all not us. And if they are us, then folks, this is a course in mental masturbation. Not advancement, not development. Because that's all we're doing. And it's hindered us. And it's a fact. I mean, show me in the world where any one religion has done this miraculous conversion of man. Don't exist. Why? But yet we are programmed by the worm. Well, if you leave one religion, you're going to get another. Well, you know what? I don't like that the way that you interpret that particular scripture. So I'm starting my own religion over here. And we're going to say, you are wrong because we've got better insight. We've got the ticket. Everyone thinks they got the ticket. Yeah, brother, sister, you got the ticket all right, but you ain't going to like who's punching it. I mean, so people say, well, what's the alternative? Well, it's about time that we start growing up. Now, these are fundamental wholesale changes in the collective consciousness of our species. And the reason why it is impossible? Now, I still hear in my head, all things are possible to him who believes. But nothing's changing. And there's a reason for it. And this is what I'm saying. The moon is a soul sucker. Yeah, Al, I think, Big Al, you are right on with that. Hey, you know, in the course of an hour that we come together Monday through Friday, this is an opportunity for free thinking. We try to cut the chains away that so constrict our inner core beliefs, and that's risky. You know, when you cut away the safety net and line, you're out there, baby. And it's not bad. It really isn't. If what I experienced was nothing more than an inner vision of myself, isn't it odd where I am at? You know, I had to stop and think about this. Steiger, where the hell did you come up with this? I mean, let's examine this. I mean, I wrote it. You can see it. Go back and read it yourself. I think it's pretty far out. Just myself. I mean, I look at it as going, well, wasn't that special? And I think it's pretty cool, personally, just me. Should we head for the dark? Susie Q, I think it's a question more. You see, we are programmed to view the dark as evil, as bad. It's opposite of the light. But what we're missing here is that, ladies and gentlemen, the dark is the light. It's just of a different degree. Does that make sense? It's not the dark. It's not what we have been trained to think. Folks, space is dark. It's only blotted by tiny points of light. That's all it is. So should we be afraid of space? You know, once you get away from our star, I mean, that's what the astronauts will have to deal with. Remember Star Trek: The Next Generation, you know, the Enterprise D? I mean, you know, all you would see is those little lights going by because they're traveling, you know, multiple counts above sea. Dark. I don't know. It's just something to think about. Someone says, if God created the light, then he came from within the darkness. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Bravo. You get the gold star today, because that's exactly the point. If there was this God that created light, then the God is coming from darkness. That means its natural abode is darkness. Think about it. Yeah. And David Barry says we see 4%. Actually, I think David is probably less than that. So you think about it that in one aspect, we are blind. We are, listen, if you, with your normal eyesight, could only see 1 to 3% of what the eyes were capable of, you're blind. You're legally blind. Me thinketh that we be all blind. You're welcome, Susie. Thank you for all that you do as well. So you see, it's just a matter of perspective of how you see this. You know, the dark is no different than, you know, the light. It's just a different perception. And David Barry, that's a great point that you bring out. It's the fact that, now think about it. All of us are blind souls. Does the soul see the full spectrum? From the infrared to the ultraviolet to the microwave to further? Those are all visible light. Would that indicate that our souls are blind while we're in these bodies? Look, how far can the soul see? Well, these are questions that are really deep. They are. You know, someone saying they have demons trying to suck out of your dreams. You know what? Let me tell you something about demons. Challenge them. Get up in their freaking face and say, who the fuck are you? And if they don't answer you, then mentally you see yourself slapping them. And you say it again. Who are you? You'll be surprised you won't have problems with any more dark spirits. The reason why many people are tormented by these is that it's up here, and that's where they attack. It's the worm. Because the evidence shows most do nothing. Okay. Someone says you make your own boogeyman. David Castle, that is right. You kick its ass. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to get up and listen. If they exist, and I'm not saying they don't, I've met a few. You have to stand up for who and what you are. Why is humanity afraid of a demon, of an angel, of a demigod? Answer yourself. Ask yourself this question. When you're in the middle of the basement, go down the basement and turn all the lights out. Make sure that it's dark as can be, and sit down there as long as you can. For me, I always take a pillow because I end up falling asleep when I used to do it. But the fact is, if there's something down there, they're so far on the totem pole. I mean, how screwed up do you have to be in reputation that you get a basement? That's your place to haunt, a freaking basement. And you're afraid of what? Only two choices. If it's a spirit, it's an alien. Yeah. And if it's not an alien, then it's human. Then why are you afraid of a dead human being? Anyway. Thank you, Twisted Isby. All right. Boom. Be brave. That's it, Susie Q. All right, folks. See you tomorrow with Miss Trina on a second look. We'll have a fun discussion. Thank you for being here. It's fun. I mean, I do this because I really enjoy it. And I enjoy immensely the privilege of being with all of you each day. And it's just fun to share. Yeah, I know I'm the talking head, but, I'm the guy driving the bus. All right. I'll see y'all later. Be good to yourselves. Bye-bye.